Hey, good evening, friends. It's Rick here again from Rock Island. Part 2 of my talk about hate. I had a video about hate and how the left wing skews the word hate. I think it was a couple months ago. This is part 2. I plan to do this, but I haven't had time doing other things. And so this one, what I want to talk about this time when I talk about hate is how we as people misuse that word. Use that word, you hear it a lot, all over the place. Hate. I hate this football team, they're my rival, I hate this person, I can't stand this act, I hate this one. But the reality is that's most of the time it's not hate. Hate is a very serious and dangerous emotion. Most of the time when we're talking about, we use the word hate is because we use it playfully. For instance, the football team, or I remember in the 80s, a big rival was the Boston Celtics versus Los Angeles Lakers in basketball. There's been many other types of rivalries. Remember that. And if you're a Celtics fan, you hated the Lakers. If you're a Lakers fan, you hated the Celtics, but you really hate them. You had intense respect, even the players amongst themselves. Larry Bird was a great friend, still to this day, of Magic Johnson and stuff like that. So even when you say I hate a team, it's most of the time, I'll give you one example where it was. Most of the time, it's not hate. You don't hate the team. It's a rivalry of sports. You want your team to win, so you use the word hate. That's true a lot of times we talk about we hate this, we can't stand this actor, we hate this actor, we hate this musician, we hate this and hate. Most of the time, all we really mean is that we, dislike or we don't agree with or just that person, something about that singer or that actor or that person just turns you off. But you don't hate them personally, because to hate is an emotion that will destroy you. A lot of people will confuse hate and anger. Now, anger, there's a justified anger. And coming from a Christian background, and I'm talking to some people here who are Christians, and I know some people here are not, that are going to hear this. But from a Christian background, there's no hate in Christianity. Jesus Christ never hated anybody. People say, well, does God hate the devil? No, he doesn't. The devil hates God, the other way around, because that emotion is very evil. It's a very evil emotion if it takes you over. Very difference between anger and hate. There's a justified anger. Sometimes anger is not justified, and it can turn to something worse. But there are often times when anger is justified. Well, many times. If somebody wronged you in a relationship or a job, a colleague, a friend, you can have anger, intense anger to somebody and still very much care for them. Your kids, for example, if they do something that's terrible, if your kid stole a car or gets arrested, like you're 17, you're going to be very angry with that. But you don't hate your kid. You still love your child. You're just very angry. It's justified anger. Jesus had it in the Bible. In the temple, when he went ballistic and people were making a mockery, and then many times he was mad at Peter, one of the highest, closest people to him, because of some of the bonehead things Peter would say. And he had kind of a justified anger, but it didn't turn more than that. It doesn't mean he didn't care for anybody or he hated anybody. When you hate, when you actually go into the state of hate, and you say you hate somebody, there's never a time to go from justified anger to justified hate. There is never a justified hate. There's a difference between the two. When you go into a state of actual hate, it's usually will never just stay with that one issue. Let's say, it's not like I hate this person so much, but I'm a nice guy, a nice woman, I love everybody else. No, when you start to actually go into hate, it makes you an ugly person, and you start to have a different attitude toward everything. Everything. The hate grows within you. And you start seeking things like revenge all the time and always looking for ways to get even. And all you actually do is erode yourself. There was a show 7, 8 years ago. I remember seeing it with my wife. It was interesting. She liked it a lot. I saw it. It was interesting. It was called Revenge. It ran for 3-4 seasons. And the premise was a girl who she thought, and she actually was wrong, she thought her father had been killed by this rich family. Had him killed. Turns out, as you see partway through, that he's not dead at all. But that's beside the point. The point is, she fakes who she is. She lies about who she is. And the whole premise of the thing is he's trying to get revenge, slowly but surely, go over with these rich people she thinks took the life of her father. Now there's a difference. See, she has justified anger. I know it's just a show, but she had justified anger, but it turned into hate. And by the end of the show, she was more evil than the people were. She wound up marrying one of the sons just to get in the family, and she wound up doing all these vile things because she was filled with hate and revenge. Even though she started out with justified anger, that her dad was killed, she became a monster. And then we can do the same thing in real life. We can use that justified anger and go to the next level and you can control anger. You can't control hate. When you can't control your anger and it becomes hate, that's when you've lost yourself. You've lost yourself. And then your whole life just gets involved with that. I go back to the sports team example. There was one guy who used to work at the joint staff. He was a Redskins fan. And the Redskins if you follow football, they haven't been good in a lot of years. And so, people, he had such a hate for people within the teams in his division, Philadelphia, Dallas, Giants, to the point, he actually had a hate to the point where he was ugly with other people because his team wouldn't win, and he had to be counseled, which is ridiculous over a sports team. But my point is, we have to understand the difference between hate and anger and disagreement. As I'm crossing over a little with my last conversation, the left wing has a very bad habit of really undefining hate improperly and saying just because you see it on advertisements, you see it everywhere. Erase the hate, erase the hate. If you disagree with the left wing, with the extreme left wing today way of thinking, you're labeled a hater, and that's very, very dangerous. Example I'll give again, I'll say it again, I disagree vehemently with the concept of obviously abortion, and Pride Month. I'm gonna talk about Pride Month. I don't agree with that, and I said before, it's not me disagreeing with Pride Month. If I say that I disagree with it, I think it's a political movement taking advantage of gays and cross-dressers and all that type of stuff for political gain. And I talked about that before. The left would immediately say, oh, you don't like Pride Month? You hate everybody that's gay. You hate. And the fact of the matter is, there's nothing to do with that. I don't hate anybody. I have people, my family and friends that I know that are gay. I don't hate them. I don't hate any of them. They know it. That has nothing to do with the Pride Month. It wasn't like Joe, the gay person, went up and knocked on the Congress door and said, I want Pride Month. No, that has nothing to do with that. Nothing. But they would say that, the left wing. Of course, if you're against abortion, you hate women. I've gone through that before. They have a very, very, very bad habit of labeling everybody who disagrees with their agenda as haters. We can disagree. We can disagree totally and still be friends. I have people in my family, friends that I know that don't agree with anything they are not Christian. They don't have any agreement. We disagree on a lot of things, morally, politically, but I still love them to death as friends and family. That has nothing to do with that. There's no hate involved. The left wing has a terrible, terrible, terrible habit of labeling everything that is different than them as a hater. We have to learn the difference. We have to watch out when we use the word hate, even in our everyday, because, like I said, most of the time when we use the word hating something, we really don't hate. We might be angry. We might be turned off. You might disagree. They might be not style of music we like, or style and I tool a lot. People know I tool a lot in country music, but I don't hate anybody. It's not hate. Why would I hate somebody I don't even know? So we have to be very careful when we talk about hate. It's a very dangerous emotion, and if you get caught up in it for real, it will take you down as a human being. You'll be the loser. It won't be the person that you're going after. You may think that, but it'll be you that'll be the loser, because it will just grow inside you like a monster. It really will, like venom. It'll just take all over, like your body, like it took over the movie. And before you know, you'll be worse than the person that you think did something wrong. You'll turn into that person and more. You don't want to do that. So my talk today about the word hate. It's very dangerous. It is not Christian. We should try to avoid the word hate and being a person of hate. any way we can. God bless. Have a great night.